Hey there! So today we are talking about breath. More specifically, some ideas and exercises that James Nestor shares in his best-selling book, Breath, The New Science of a Lost Art. Now, I have learned over the years that through the ups and downs of singing and performing, that when challenges come up with my voice, I need to check in with the breath first. Breath is foundational for singers and speakers. Without breath, there is no sound. And the nuances of how we invite the air into our instrument and how we allow the air to travel out of our instrument are important. So when science journalist James Nestor put himself through a 10-year breath journey and wrote a book about it, my curiosity was piqued. Now, I really enjoyed this book and I learned a lot. And the information was so valuable to me that I wanted to feel it for myself. I really wanted to integrate it into my person, into my cells and my bones, try the things on and see what fit and give them a good chance to start to shift muscle memory and beliefs. So that's what I did. Over the last 4 weeks, I spent time integrating some of the concepts he teaches and exploring some of his recommended exercises. For my clients that have tested out some of these ideas, they've just found a new freedom in their voice, a relief even from chronic neck and shoulder pain. Even some asthma symptoms have subsided, and they're getting better sleep. Overall, they just feel more calm when performing. Interesting, right? So James does a beautiful job in his book delivering the science and research to support the conclusions. So here, I will simply share with you what is working for me and how you can apply it. If you're curious as to the why, feel free to check out his book. So here are the 4 takeaways that really hit home for me. Nasal breathing is the optimal way to breathe. The amount of air we take in is important, the pace of our breath is important, and the length of the exhale is important. So, do you know when you're nasal breathing and when you're mouth breathing? Now, I knew consciously I was breathing through my nose when I was meditating, but other than that, I wasn't sure. So I simply started being aware of when I was breathing through my mouth. And there were 2 main times, when I was singing and when I was exercising. Now, I do these 2 things every day, so this was fertile ground for making some breathing shifts. So nasal breathing while singing. So of course we can't cut out mouth breathing when singing. There are phrases that need a quick breath in between words and places in a song that a mouth breath is truly the path of least resistance, keeping the instrument open and allowing the breath to come in without having to adjust everything. But there are places that we could integrate nasal breathing. So what about right before we start singing? What about that? And how about those long rests in between phrases like instrumental interludes? Sure, we can keep the mood and energy going and breathe through our nose. So over the month, as I've been performing, I made a conscious choice to nasal breathe before I started to sing. Instead of stretching or pacing or chatting with my accompanist, instead of worrying, I breathed through my nose. And I liked it. It calmed and centered my body, relaxed my throat, and put me at ease during an integral time, the start of the song. So many of my clients talk about how they feel unsettled or unsure at the beginning of the song because they're not really sure what's going to come out. So either they push the sound or they sneak into the song. So I feel another reason nasal breathing helped me was because during this time, as we're just starting to sing more in public, surroundings can feel a little bit different. Different mic setups, monitors may need to be different, social distancing from the sound person, the crowd, the pianist, or the band. So with all these new things going on, that unsettled feeling can compound. So I found using nasal breathing before starting my song kind of brought me into balance mentally and physically. And nasal breathing, when possible, throughout the song just kept that peaceful, easy feeling going. I like it, so I'm going to keep it. So while you are practicing or performing, see what happens when you try some conscious nasal breathing. Slow and easy, and see if it helps just calm the nerves and bring you into your song and throughout your song with just a little bit more balance. Now, as singers, I feel it's important to notice how we're treating our voice when we aren't singing. So to solve my breathing through my mouth when I was exercising, I needed tape. I lift, jog, or walk every day and was unconscious of my habit of going back and forth between nasal and mouth breathing. During lifting, my mouth was open a lot, so there were days that I actually put a piece of tape over my mouth just to keep it shut so I wouldn't forget to breathe through my nose. I needed that reminder. I work out at home so no one had to see me with tape on my mouth, but it really helped me build the habit. Now, I quickly noticed that relaxation in my throat, which was great, and it makes sense, right? Less muscles involved, no audible breath engaging the vocal folds, the breath is lower in the body, and the nervous system was more relaxed. I even felt like I could lift more weight with less strain and fatigue. And while jogging, I built the habit of breathing through my nose for the inhale and exhale. I'm not sprinting, but I'm jogging about 3 to 4 miles, so a balanced pace that supported nasal breath was okay with me. And again, I had a happy neck and a happy throat and an overall body that just felt less fatigue and more ease. So those were big wins for me to keep the nasal breathing continuing sans the tape. So when you're not singing, when you're doing your thing, walking, hiking, TV, riding a bike, check in with your breath just to see if you can adopt a little bit more of nasal breathing. You may like it. So another place that nasal breathing can be beneficial is during sleep. But officially tracking what we do at night can be complicated. So this next experiment is going to sound very strange. So sleep taping is a place that I've been exploring nasal breathing. I don't snore and I have no idea if I breathe through my mouth at night. But James talks about the benefits of sleep taping in his book and even has expert videos on his website. And I'll link that website below. As I said, I don't mind being a science experiment to see if something works for me. So while it sounds odd, for 4 weeks I've been putting a small piece of surgical tape on my mouth to see what benefits it offers. So I'll show you my surgical tape. So here's the little roll of the surgical tape, and this is right by my bedside. And I just cut off a little piece. I smooch my honey night-night, and then I just put this right over, right like that. I can still, it doesn't make me feel suffocated, it doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. The verdict is still out though. There are a lot of variables that affect my sleep pattern, so I'm going to do it for a couple more months to see what I notice. Now, it only took me a couple nights to get used to the tape on my mouth, and so it's not really a big deal now, so we'll see what happens. So the amount of breath that we take into the body can make a difference as well. So that amount of breath. So for singing, finding the best balance of inhale to exhale can kind of take time. Singers can easily take in too much air, causing tension in the body and then causing issues with the sound. And on the flip side, singers can also take in too little breath or hold their breath, causing issues with the sound. Ideally, we want a balance from the top to the bottom of our range. Now, I have worked long and hard over the years to find balance in my breath when singing. It's been quite a journey for me. So when James talks about decreasing the amount of breath on the inhale, sharing that many people overbreathe, I thought I'd spend some time to see if I could do some deeper work there as well. So in conjunction with the nasal breathing before starting a song, I took a smaller inhale before coming in with those first notes. The result was good. I had to let go of the idea that I wasn't going to have enough air. I had to release the thought that I wouldn't make it through the phrase. I was actually surprised by how easy it felt to sing the phrase. I didn't think I was over-breathing before. I thought I was relaxed. I didn't think I was doing too much, but obviously I was. And as a seasoned singer, it was really cool to feel how I could do a little bit less and get a better return. So ask yourself, could you be over-breathing before you start to sing or even before you speak? Could you do less and still get the result that you want? So the length of exhale is important, right? As a singer, we train to do long exhales. We allow the breath to carry the emotional phrases we love to sing, and all this happens on the exhale. So for fun, my husband Mark and I compared the number of breaths per minute. He's in the average range of about 12 breaths per minute, and I'm down at about 6 breaths a minute, which gives me a great return on oxygen and CO2 in my body. So what if you want to grow your exhale length? James has exercises in his book to help slow the exhale down, and here's one for you that I've used over the years. So inhale through your nose and then exhale on an S. I used to time myself with a stopwatch. You can use the timer on your phone and track how long you can exhale. Do this every day and watch how it gets better and better and longer and longer. This really helps singers train our exhale muscles to slow down, getting away from the habit of letting all the air rush out on the first two notes of the phrase and then gasping for more air. A long inhale allows the rise of the diaphragm to be slow and our muscles to start to coordinate the release of air exiting the body as a fluid, smooth stream of air. So when practicing this S, let's try it again together. So breathe in through that nose, exhale on an S, and do it for as long as you can. And we don't want stopping or starting or in and out. So what we don't want is this. That means that we've got too much going on down below, and we need to practice to make sure that that coordination can make that smooth exit of that S. All right, you can have fun with that. And I think it's cool to see how you can get longer and longer by using that timer. Okay, so try it out and see how you do. Another practice that James mentions that I have integrated into my daily routine, it's called the 5 Tibetan rites. The 5 Tibetan rites are a form of Tibetan yoga said to be more than 2,500 years old, which were brought to light in a publication by Peter Kelder called The Eye of the Revelation, written in 1939. Kelder claims this series of exercises was used by Tibetan monks to live long, vibrant, and healthy lives. He actually cited many benefits, including weight loss, better memory, improved physical strength, enhanced sense of well-being, and even a reduction in the speed of the aging process. For this reason, these exercises are also referred to as the foundation of youth. Sign me up. So I've done yoga for a long time. Adding these 5 movements into my cool down to my daily exercise routine felt really comfortable. I made sure I aligned the inhales and exhales as directed in the videos I watched, and I'll share those video links with you below, so you can check them out for yourself. So the first move is spinning. The second move is called the J. The third is the dynamic camel. The fourth is tabletop. And the last one is upward dog to downward dog. As a singer-focused movement that targets the torso, also gently stretching the neck as well as aligning the pace of the inhale and exhale made a lot of sense to me. So in doing this before practice, just my body felt better and more loose. I see no downside, so I'm keeping it in my practice as well. And lastly, James talks about the great benefit of sitting and closing your eyes and nasal breathing. So for me, that's meditation. Meditation has given me so much over the years and has helped me find that singing zone in performance more easily. I'm definitely continuing to meditate. So if you're not a meditation person or meditation is hard for you, you may really enjoy James's scientific approach to stillness and breath. So much good stuff in this book. I hope this behind the scenes look was helpful and gives you some concepts and exercises to explore. We all have to take ownership of our singing journey, right? And for me, that means learning and applying what works best for me. This book reinforced that little shifts can really make a big impact. Breath is a foundational process that can greatly influence our living, our singing, and our speaking voice. Breath balance can provide lots of benefits. It's free, it's accessible, and you can go at your own pace of exploration. Pretty cool. I will link James Nestor's book site below. Check it out. And if you try some of these concepts, let me know how it goes. I would love to share notes. Have fun with this as you explore your own nasal breathing. And as always, rejoice in your voice. Bye-bye.